Oh no, I didn't set up. This is so unprofessional. Sorry, everyone. Bear with me a second. Oh no, embarrassing.
I assume we've got sound now.
Yeah, they're seeing all the scaffolding, all the lies that we live in.
It'll be so unusual for them to see.
Oh no, I feel very upset. And they can see you without a beard. Hang on, let me get that right before we do anything else. Okay, there we go. Okay, now people can relax a little bit. It should be on now, Spares. I hope it's okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Boys from the Baltic Star, the most slickly produced show on the whole of Twitch. It's incredibly hot here tonight. The guns are out, of course. Ewan's t-shirt started white, but he's been sweating strange colours. It's so hot. Ben has gone for the big beard, which is a strong look in any summer, quite frankly. But we're glad, because there were horrible rumours that he'd shaved it off. But as you can see, all lies. All lies. Hello, as always. Nugget here. Yeah, Ben's fully in with that, it feels. He's quite bear-like as well, to be honest. He's our personal bear. But first of all, if you're one of our regulars, welcome as always. We love having you around, seeing some common and friendly names. If you are here for the first time, welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you popped in before and you lurk a bit, thank you for coming back. We are the Boys from the Baltic Star. On Fridays, we play Traveller, except when we don't. But tonight is the night we play Traveller, and I've realised I've got to fulfil a prediction outcome of who is next to me. It is Ben. So anyone that picked Ben, have some coins, why don't you? A rose amongst the thorns tonight. We've run out of beard time, by the way. I'm sorry about this, everyone. There we go. But yes, so there we go. So we're playing Traveller tonight, which is our science fiction role-playing game, ongoing, episode 20 of this series. We're quickly approaching our mid-season sum-up show, which we will talk about, no doubt, at the end, I would imagine, with the plans of the next couple of weeks. What else? Yes, if it's your first time, the beard's going back on, probably for the best. So someone it's just between you, just keep it topped up, yeah, because it's quite upsetting. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit, because it is a bit upsetting. We like to hide his face during this roughest week of the month.
Well, during all the time. More so now.
So, if it is your first time and you're still here, thank you for joining us. Please feel free to pop in and go as much as you want. It's a pleasure to have you here, and we know there's a lot of stuff going on. It's a Friday night, it's the party night. And if you don't like parties, there's lots of stuff on TV and stream. So thank you very much. Please feel free to lurk. Lurking is cool. We all lurk when we watch or listen to streams. If you want to chat, please feel free. You should see that the chat's a bit silly and friendly anyway, and they're incredibly welcoming in my experience. I'm biased, but very welcoming. You and myself and Ben, if we're not focused, I guess, at that point, we'll join in chat a bit. Feel free to interact with us, break the fourth wall, suggest things, or just chat amongst yourselves. It's all groovy. If you click that little red sun, there are ways to spend the points. Ben is very tiny in the screen. Yeah, he's sort of smaller as well. Short today, isn't he? If you click that red sun, there's lots of ways to spend the points, and some are just silly. It's a bit bewildering, because Friday night is a bewildering night. There's some good emojis as well, especially the Buckyball one. But that Daddy Agnar mode in game, if someone's going to buy something, click on that, and Agnar's got to pay for it instead. Stefan's Sneaky Masterclass, Stefan has to steal something. If you love the Geeks, the best Buckyball team, up the Geeks. Oh, there's one, look. Guns are out. Yes. Guns are out. Oh, I've turned it down. This is lovely in my ears. Ugh. Guns out is for me. It's my special one. It's where I get to flex my guns. It's very hot, so I'm not going to flex too much. I'm already sweating from the flex. But there's stuff for Ben, there's stuff for Ewan. There's a new one for Sparrow in tonight, in honour of Georgie. And there's a whole range of stuff, so please feel free. If you want to hit us with a boon, there's a boon in there. If you want to name a character, name a character. If you want us to hit something randomly in game, there we go. That was a great choice. So there's plenty. So please feel free to do that as much or as little. One thing we do keep as 1 credit at all times is I'll drink to that. So if something is said or people are toasting or something is happening and you agree, it costs just 1 credit, because we want everyone to be able to drink to that if they wish. So if you want to raise your drink and toast to it for 1 credit, I'll drink to that. That's it with the intro. I'm having another one. Sabotage. Yeah, it's a good one, to be honest. So I suppose we better do introduction and then get started, I guess. Ben's beard's ran out again, that's a shame. My name is Luke. Hello, I'm in the bottom right hand corner. There's 2 characters I play in this ridiculous game. I play Kara and Soraya. Kara is, as you can see, is thank you, Nightbot, is an artist, a carouser, a trader, a hacker, a vlogger, someone who can't keep a secret and basically lays the team's plans out on the table the second anyone asks, which has its own charms, I guess. I also play Soraya, who's a jack of all trades, an engineer, a drinker of mimosas, not very good with posh people, quite frankly, but she's good with a wrench and a grenade. So that's me anyway. Passing over, we're going to jump 2 across if you're looking at the bottom of the screen. Go past this handsome yet beardless man in the middle to my friend, my colleague and my comrade Ewan in 2 across. A fist bump, Ewan, if you don't mind getting out of the way for us.
Just duck a bit.
That's it. There we go. Lovely. What's up, Ewan? How's it going?
Yeah, not bad. Thanks. Not bad. I'm a little bit red. I'm still emanating heat from too much sun. But it's good, thanks. It's good.
You always emanate something. Ewan.
something, yeah.
So, who do you play in this tale?
I too play 2 ridiculous characters, and no, the game's ridiculous, right?
Yes, we're ridiculous.
Yeah, pretty much. I play Stefan, Soraya's partner in management, but also partner in general sneaky, dexterous space rogue. I think I say every week. And I also play Agnar, who is a Varga, Wolfman, former military general, medic, and military tactician of sorts when the dice are behaving. Obviously.
I always feel he's very tactical. He just doesn't always have the right tactics for the right moment.
Yeah, sure. Well, I blame me personally, because I have no idea what I'm doing with military tactics. However, Agnar is particularly good. His skill set is. It's me that lets him down.
A +3 and anything is that anyone can see on the top. So on the top, if you haven't seen before, that's where we'll scroll our characters through. A +3 is the best anyone's got in anything, and that means it's a +3 to the dice roll, which is very powerful when you're using 2d6. Agnar's very skilled with tactics. So anyway, sat in the middle, if you're happy to put your thumbs over that part of the screen where his chin is, it is the smartest man in any room. He lives his whole life in the Twin Peaks dream sequence. He's constantly surrounded by an army of topless, heavily oiled buff men who are probably sweating their nipples off tonight in this heat. They're holding up the screen for him. It is, of course, let him resplend.
Majestic.
Ah, yes. It is, of course, our not so hirsute referee. It is Ben. Good evening, Ben. How are you and how are the boys?
I'm all right. Slightly over-temperatured at the moment, of course. But it's a bit of a warm night. I literally grabbed my water bottle from the fridge as I sat down, so it's to retain its cold as long as possible. Yeah, the boys are good. Yeah, they're getting a pay rise this week.
Are they? About time. Quite frankly, I heard what you paid them, and it's embarrassing.
It is. I mean, it's a percentage-based pay rise, so it's not going to be very good.
No. I've heard that one might take them over the tax bracket as well. So they'll be worse off.
It's unlikely to move them into any reasonable tax bracket. No, they're very part-time. What can I tell you?
No, that is true. Just Friday nights, Saturday nights, and early Tuesday mornings to wake you up with your breakfast.
Yeah, well, that could be an added duty, but at the moment, as I say, that I'm only really using them because they're cheaper than C-clamps.
Yeah, that's true. C-clamps are so expensive these days.
I know, they're ridiculous, aren't they?
Exactly.
And C-clamps now have a union, of course, so...
Oh, yeah. You're fighting a losing battle with C-clamps. And talking about fighting a losing battle, I suppose we'd better do some role-playing tonight, then.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Is it time to get started? All right. So, a successful meeting with Pan System Power on Dilub Rou was concluded with an offer to join the corporate executives for dinner. Good progress had been made in setting up Lane Jarek, the local second-hand dealer, with a business contact inside PSP, potentially leading to a very lucrative return for him on repairs and modifications to old vehicles. In exchange, he was willing to make all sorts of recycled and refined materials available for PSP's research. Not only that, Jarek was added as yet another piece of the Safari puzzle. Guests to the scheme would now find accommodation in the large building the travellers are securing, be fed and looked after by Degek, a local publican and raconteur, while the expeditions would be led by two impressive former military types. Before setting off into the wilds, they would be taken into an artificially seedy place, where they would be brought face to face with the venomous sand crates, and their vehicles would be prepared by Jarek, who would also provide some set dressing, in the form of horribly twisted and damaged wrecks that could each have a story attached to them about some run-in with the mighty Moamps that roam the desert. Our heroes have secured a person to oversee the rooms and make sure guests always have someone to see to their needs, a former employee of the despicable Uma. Before leaving the table at PSP, the travellers even managed to secure their first corporate client. PSP can use a way to entertain their guests. All that remains is to complete the purchase of the property and the business can start running. Of course, there's still the matter of the dead people they left in and around Uma's rooms. The investigator, Sergeant Detta, is looking into the matter and might yet place them at the scene. It seems the mystery of what was going on at Bycrest is less mysterious than it first appeared, and their friend Garrick Avarian was very warmly received when he returned to PSP the small piece of broken engineering they'd seemingly lost in the crash at his house and workshop. On the other hand, slightly less comfortingly, it seems that a woman visited the PSP executives as well as Kavarian, and they, for some reason, are also fantastically bad at remembering anything about her. As our heroes finished their meal and prepared to leave, they had yet to let us know exactly what their next step might be, and that is where we resume the story.
Before we jump straight into the story, can we not skim over the fact that you called Varga business partner a raconteur, the one that's not Telon Rack, who is the other Varga business partner? I was very impressed with that then. More so than I should be, probably.
Words are my tools.
I thought we were your tools. So I guess as it's all winding down and they've got the coffees and mints or whatever, Sir Rye will lean over to Stefan and say, "Stefan, you've been quiet for a while. Why don't you, as a final tale for the night, why don't you regale us all with a tale from the olden days? Something that will charm our new friends at PSP. I'm sure, something that Mr. Seldarka would appreciate."
Stefan sort of shoots a look over, like, "What are you doing? You know all my stories. None of them are business associate appropriate."
She very obviously steeples her fingers and looks over at him.
And I say, yes, of course. I mean, I'm not sure I've been quiet all night. Did you not hear me? Let's had a good conversation. But yes.
I'm sorry, I zoned out during that conversation. It was boring. Not like this story.
Have I ever told any of you about the business deal that I had going when just before we first met, Soraya? Do you remember we met in the bar on World?
Yes.
And then we were at the. Were you at the naval training?
I
base?
was still studying at the time. It's you I've got to blame. You and those horrifically cheap shooters for 6 months.
And alas, I was not still studying at the time. I'd packed in my whatever the Starship equivalent of sailing gear is, and moved on to a different business venture. We were in the business of acquiring. How did I put it when we first met Soraya? Surplus goods from the Naval Academy.
I believe you said things they wouldn't miss.
Yes, surplus goods. He looks over to the new business partner that we've just made, and selling them on for a rather tiny profit, if I do say so myself.
Yes.
It was quite the venture. Lots of deals were made. You understand? You know, I can't talk in depth about former business deals and former clients, but we had a good time. It bought me and Soraya a lot of shots, indeed.
It did, and let's just say we were able to get the whole bar drinking for a good few weeks afterwards.
And we plan to hopefully be able to do the same here. You know, create some business, make a little bit, and distribute it. Not solely in a bar, but mostly, I would imagine.
Of course. But of course, Stefan, you've given up on that sort of side of things now. It's all very above board sort of behaviour from you now, isn't it?
Well, it was at the time as well.
Oh yes, it was. Of course.
He gives Soraya a little nudge.
Oh yes.
Kick under the table.
That's right. It was. I forgot. That was my other friend, Stephen. His name was
Steve. Yes. Stevie baby.
Oh, God, Stevie, baby.
He'll as he finishes the tale. Soraya, could you just pass the pepper, please?
Of course. Stefan, baby. And she passes the pepper.
Sprinkle some around, and then just put it in his pocket. He'll try and be subtle about it.
Okay.
Wait for somebody else to start picking up a conversation.
Can you do for me a deception with Dex, please?
Mm-hmm. Helps if I get the right character sheet. No need to warm the dice tonight, though, he says.
Yeah, incredibly hot.
That is an 8 plus some things. Plus 2 is a 10.
Okay. You palm it and slip it into your pocket. As far as you can tell, nobody notices.
Nice. I look forward to shaking Pepper out of my pocket for the next week.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's a nice smell, Pepper. So yes, the evening is winding down. People are pushing their chairs back and standing up and meandering around the sort of fairly structured layout of this garden area. The robots are coming out to see if anyone needs another drink before departing, but it's clearly, the end of the evening.
Kara will stand up and reach her hand out for Mr. Saldaka. Mr. Saldaka, absolute pleasure being here this evening. Thank you so much for putting up with us and for humouring us and for hopefully the start of some wonderful business together?
Yes, it's been a very pleasant evening, and I have a feeling our joint interests will be well served by the things that were discussed tonight.
Mr. King, Mr. Nerys, thank you very much. Robots, you've done a wonderful job.
Don't forget to thank your servants, though.
Yep. Remember to tip your robot.
What?
No. Tip them over.
No! Not with what I've just been given. While this is going on, Sarai, who's seen what Stefan has done with the pepper, is going to try and give him a friendly elbow in the ribs right into the pepper container, please.
Okay. So you're going to effectively try and nudge against it.
Yeah, hard.
Fairly hard.
But yeah.
If you're going to do it fairly hard, this is going to be an unarmed melee.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes. Well, lucky for
So you
you.
can have your choice of strength or dex.
Yeah, and neither. Yeah, and.
And melee unarmed.
Okay, that's -1. A -1 in total then. She's quite clumsy, is our Sarai. 8 -1 is 7.
Okay. That is a clean miss. Yes, you fail to contact.
She'll shoot Stefan a look and said, you got lucky this time.
Whoa.
This time.
What are you trying to do? You almost fell over. Are you okay?
I've had a few mimosas. Let's just get back to the G carrier and I'll be all right. A bit of the fresh air of my mask will help me.
Sounds like a good plan. We'll bid you a good night on that note before my friend here falls completely over.
Hey, Bob Bushman, how are you? That's a good name. I'm a big fan of Bob Bushman already.
That is a good name.
I'd like Bob Bushman to report on our game. It's a strong name. I hope you're well, by the way, Bob.
It would be a good buckyball commentator.
Mmm.
That's a good name for a buckyball commentator.
Up the geeks, I say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you sort of gathering up with stuff and heading out to the vehicle?
Yeah, I think so. You got nothing else we need to do? I guess we'll wave. Are we taking the miners back, or are they making their own way back, Ben? What was the plan? Were they staying there the night, or?
They are planning to travel with you back to Bycrest for the night.
Okay. Makes sense. It's not that far, is it? Everything's only an hour or two everywhere we go.
Yeah, it's about an hour to get to Bycrest. The longest journey you're taking in this little area of the planet is maybe 2 hours. This is not the longest journey.
Right, should we get you back to Bycrest before you fall asleep? You all look quite tired out, a bit pooped. Soraya, who was not actually drinking, of course, she just was trying to style out the fact that she was clumsy because she was the designated driver for the night.
Yes, indeed.
It was just clumsiness that made her miss all along. She grabs the keys off rack and jumps in the front, purposefully being a bit over enthusiastic. In you get, you lot. Come on, let's get you home. Let's all start a song. It's a long way back, especially the pace I drive.
Okay. So you all pile into the vehicle. The executives at PSP sort of wave you off, looking quite pleased with how things have gone. As you make your way through the outer part of the compound, there are a couple of robots meandering about doing basic maintenance tasks, but nothing particularly grabs your attention. And you slide it out to out to the outside of the fence. The gate automatically opens, of course. They're literally watching you walk out. And there you find your vehicle and strap yourselves in for the journey. You all came together, so if you don't take them to Bike Rest, they're not getting there tonight.
Oh, guys, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yep. Nothing to see here. Move along, move along.
I'm sure PSP would have put them up in a nice hotel. I feel like we're robbing them of a
Nice
night
night.
out. Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to Bike Rest then. Let's drop these happy campers off.
Okay. All right. Can you roll a quick vehicle check for me, for Soraya, please?
Yes. What did we say she was rolling on? She was the best because she was a -1. Everyone else would have been. Everyone else would have been absolutely terrible.
Yep.
Because it's not a small craft, is it? It's a 0G craft or something, right?
It's a ground vehicle.
Yeah. Oh, Bob. Have you kept the beard off, Bob, or are you growing it back? Just finding time while I roll. Oh, man. Roll of the night already. It feels like I've really wasted time to roll a 12. I'd have rather had that for another
12.
time, let's face it. So an 11.
An 11 total.
Yeah, that feels wasted to me.
It is a very smooth and slick journey back to Bike Rest. You're very comfortable with the controls now as you travel, and it's a very, very comfortable journey. It's quick. Everyone seems completely relaxed. No jolts or sudden surprises as you make your way up to the fence at Bike Rest, and your traveling companions, the three of them who are staying there for the night, pop out and wave you goodbye with a cheerful sort of slap on the side of the vehicle.
Well, sleep well, everyone. Pleasure as always. Maybe see you again soon, maybe not. But keep it real, yeah? And I think we were going to plan to head back to the nunnery, please. It's getting late.
The Priory.
Yes, the Priory.
Sure.
Let's spend the night there. It's getting late. Cara's a bit upset that we're wasting more of her money, but...
To be fair, you've got quite a big party at the hotel as well.
Yeah, that's true. And they just get a room to themselves. It's nice.
Yeah.
Good for them. I'll claim it back on expenses. Don't worry about that.
Yes. And there is space at the Priory for Rack and Jax as well.
Yes, that's right. Because it's a bit of a right angle to theirs, I think, or something. I remember we did it the first time we did it. Yeah.
Yeah, if they were to drop you off and then head back to their own place, that would be quite a long round trip.
Speaking of expenses, Cara, that you brought up, how many spots were we offered on that job that we were going to take to get us back to back to Geeka?
Oh, we have to pay the tickets.
Do you know, well, I was just trying to get it straight in my head. I'm gonna say.
They're going to be Stefan, Soraya, Agnar, Cara, Zoe, Johnny, Rose, Rick, and Kat will be on guard duty. Gerg, Sammy, and Freya will not. So we need to get 3 people covered in one way or another.
3 tickets.
3 tickets.
Gotcha.
Okay. So we might need to cover that. There's not much. There's 30,000 credits in the Baltic Inc. account, and a lot of fish. But I don't know if
do they take fish?
I don't know. We can ask if the seamstress takes fish as payment for rooms. We got some slate fish. Slate fish are really valuable. We'll tell them that. We'll start with mackerel, and then we'll sort of flip them a shark if they're not taking that, and then if they really play hardball, we'll chuck a couple of tons of slate fish.
Yeah, it's when you offer to give someone a shark and they look at you like, is that a threat?
It's the trade economy. We're getting rid of money. It's a new thing. We'll give you a shark. You give us an old radio, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Feels like a trading quest.
Ah, bring it
You know,
on.
in a computer game where you got to go through a little
Yeah.
long route of trading things to end up with what you actually need in the end.
Oh man, when someone's just like, yeah, I just need a sword for my friends. You go to the friend like, well, I don't have a sword. I gave it to so and so, but I'll give you this apple. And if you go to this
Yeah,
person,
yeah.
give them the apple. They'll give it. Oh, shut up.
It's one of them.
Yes. Those are the times I wish I played Chaotic Evil in those sort of games and just like slaughtered everyone and just took the sword.
It's all mine now.
Ugh.
Got the apple, the sword, and the whatever else it was. Agno, I'll just quickly say, how much were tickets again? We did find out, didn't we?
They weren't cheap. I didn't write it down though. I did look in the thing. Let me just flick through my mind. Hang on a sec. My mind speaks with a different accent to my voice though.
Your mind speaks with a different accent.
I'm glad you didn't tell me that when we first met.
No, exactly.
It would have been somewhat off-putting.
18,000 per ticket.
It's yeah. Ah, it's 18,000 per ticket. That's right. I knew it was on the back of my brain.
I must say, your mind has a very resplendent accent. You should use it more often.
I will. I enjoy it. I often read my books to myself in that voice. I think a lot of people would like books read to them in that voice.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Infinite Monkey Tales. Hello.
Hey,
Oh.
Monkey Tales.
Oh, welcome, Infinite.
The Monkey Tales always turn up when we're in the middle of talking nonsense. I know the odds are high, but
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder why that is.
Poops is in
They were
his
doing their
house.
Nordic mythology, modern adventure, island hopping thing tonight. It was brilliant.
Very well. I tuned in myself. It was very thrilling. Very good. There was a man of the cloth in it. I always appreciate when someone plays a man of the cloth. It's a good tale. Yeah. And Poops, Pirate. Hope you're all doing well. Yeah, everyone's in. We love you too. I'll say it's IMT times BFTBS. That's what it's all about. We're a combo now. We're a combo team. Croy, hope you're doing well. I'm really sweating now. Okay, so we're on the flight back. Were we supposed to call Detta, or was he going to call us? We discussed this.
He said he would contact you,
Okay, cool.
and he's expecting to contact you tonight.
Yeah,
Effectively.
that's what we're doing. Sarah will turn round to everyone else. Put her arm over the armrest. Right, we off to see the nuns then?
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Okay.
That is the plan.
You clamber in and set off towards the priory. I'm not going to make you roll another check for the driving. Clearly, Soraya got this.
Oh, she's got the skills.
And as you all set off, you settle in for a journey of perhaps an hour or so, fairly swift. The vehicle, thanks to Rack's tender ministrations and frequent percussive maintenance, is humming along quite nicely. There's an occasional creak and groan from it, belying it's not the newest thing ever, but it is seemingly in pretty good nick. As you travel, you do see in the distance a couple of Moamps loping across the desert, but they're a long way away. And it is while you're in the middle of that journey that indeed the communication channels for Stefan and Soraya pop up with an incoming call from Sergeant Detta.
So I'll sort of vaguely look down at hers and says, Stefan, can you take it? He's calling yours too, right? I'm kind of busy here.
Yeah. Do you want me to just take it, or should I just put him on speaker?
Up to you, my
I'm
friend. Up to
assuming I
you.
could open it up to everyone in the.
Yes? Yeah, you can.
I'll tell you what. I'll take it personally first, and then we'll see where things are going. Stefan will pick it up and say, "Yes, hello."
Hello. Thank you for answering. I appreciate it. I did tell you I'd give an update on the case of the murder, or perhaps I should say untimely death of Omar.
Yes, you did.
I'm in a position now to give you what you might call a formal statement as to what we intend to do about it, how we're going to proceed, and how that affects you. The fatality has been itself investigated in detail. It appears that Umar was killed by high-velocity firearm shots from 2 different weapons, both of which struck her before she had a chance to fall to the ground. We conducted some inquiries with people who were believed to be present inside the building at the time, and they weren't able to provide us with much in the way of help, it seems. The building has security cameras, but unaccountably they don't seem to have recorded anything at the time, which is quite frustrating, as you can imagine, if you're investigating.
Of course.
But we were able to find an independent witness. This independent witness, I may have mentioned to you.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think we had that discussion, didn't we? And you brought up the. How should I put this? The eclectic makeup of our group, and their distinctive. The distinctive composition, I suppose.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, when we first interviewed our witness, she was present outside the building at the time, and she said that she was able to identify the people leaving the scene immediately after the shots were fired. And she gave a description which does not match the members of your group. However, I'm looking back at my notes now from that interview. At the time, I felt very strongly that she was not necessarily the most reliable of witnesses. And,
yes, you mentioned.
And there was even a possibility that she might have been bribed by someone to change her story or to provide an alibi. You understand? We have to check these things out.
Not as independent as you'd initially thought. Of course.
Well, it turns out that one of my senior detectives had the opportunity to interview her again today, which is why I said I would give you a call this evening to give an update on progress. He is absolutely staking his life and his reputation that she is completely trustworthy and convincing. He tells me she remembers details from that time and that moment that, you know, he actually had to physically go and verify from visiting the scene, and she turned out to be right. It was apparently a tour de force from a witness. So I'm very pleased to be able to tell you that on this revisiting, we are absolutely confident now that you are not responsible for the death of Umar. And we're not proceeding with any kind of investigation in your direction. We are putting out calls for a completely different group of individuals based on new information. And I would like to formally offer the apologies of the Azurport Police Department.
Well, there's no need for that. Don't worry. We're obviously very pleased, especially with our upcoming, hopefully, business on the planet. Although, I mean, frankly, I have to say it seems quite unusual that such contrasting opinions of the witness would come back. That must be quite frustrating for you.
The truth is, when a witness comes forward, we often only get the chance to take a very brief statement on a first pass. We then look into what information sources we have available. At the time we first spoke with this person, we were not even aware that we wouldn't be able to gain access to the video cameras, for example, which obviously would have set the matter to rest. So when it finally meant that we really did have to go into detail and evaluate everything that the witness was telling us, well, yes, then we went back and we sat down for a much more substantial interview, put it that way. I wasn't actually in that interview, but obviously they're conducted by a couple of senior and seasoned detectives, and the report is glowing. It's seemingly the case that this witness has remarkable recall of the event. It's not always true of witnesses. They see something happen in front of them and they can often not remember details. We have here an exceptional eyewitness. Normally we would hope that such a witness would be a local, but I'm afraid she's from off-planet. But with that one minor caveat, which is only really relevant should we later identify the people in question and need her to come back to give a positive identification or to witness for a trial. The reality is, however, we can't stop a foreigner from leaving the world just because they're a witness to a crime.
Yes, yeah, of course. I believe we'd. Did we? I'm sure we spoke before about the witness. Are you able to divulge their identity to us now that we're no longer of any concern of the investigation?
I'm sorry. You understand? Witnesses have to be able to come forward on the complete guarantee of their personal privacy. The only way the witness's name will be divulged is if it later turns up in official proceedings as a court case or something like that.
Yes, of course. Sorry, I suppose what I was really asking, or what I really would have wanted to find out from that is, you said that you'd been given the description of another group. Is there anybody that we should? We wouldn't ever take the law into our own hands, but is there anybody that you would advise avoiding, or any descriptions of people that you would advise avoiding if we saw them, walking towards us down the street?
Well, here I must confess is something of an element of confusion, because the descriptions that have been given, they seem to match 3 of the former members of a local violent gang. Now, every piece of information we have implies that that gang has been previously dealt with. No longer exists, no longer poses a threat. And yet, people we thought might be dead or at least run away are apparently around and killing people. So I would avoid groups of women with a lot of aggressive tendencies and completely covered in weapons.
Oh, Ben. Stefan will say, well, yeah, I mean, naturally we'd aim to do that anyway, I think, but thank you. Thank you for the update. I think I'll pass on the message to my colleagues.
Violent ladies. Oh no. We don't run into any violent ladies.
Women covered in weapons possibly are a sort of warning sign for a lot of things, but on this occasion, yes, this is what has been implied to us.
Okay, well, thank you again. Thank you for the call. Thank you for the update. If we can, remember anything about our walk back from the business meeting we had, we'll be sure to let you know. But I in all honesty, I think it might have been anything that would have been of importance would have sprung to mind. We tend to be quite well put together for business meetings. We're in that right frame of mind. But thank you.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for any inconvenience that this has caused you. Very pleased to be able to put your minds at rest. And I hope you'll enjoy the remainder of your time on Dilub Rou.
Thank you. It's no inconvenience at all. Don't worry. We understand you've got a job to do. We hope you catch the guilty party.
It is our hope. We actually have a pretty good record when it comes to murder. As I say, murder's possibly a bit of a stretch in this case. Emma was not the most innocent of victims, shall we say.
Well, regardless, a crime has been committed, then we have all faith that you'll serve justice on Dilub Rou.
Thank you, and good night. Have a good evening.
And yourself. Stefan will hang up the phone and he'll shout forward to Soraya. Soraya, we got to leave the planet immediately.
What's
They're
that?
onto us.
What? Onto you?
No, all of us. They want to bring us in for official questioning.
Did they know that you punched a guy in his face so hard that it exploded?
Shh! Don't. Stefan looks at his phone to make sure that he's hung up. You're lucky I hung up. Quick, to the spaceport. We've got to go.
What? I was looking forward to the choral singing tomorrow morning.
I'm only joking.
Oh,
we're off the hook. It's fine. They think it was... I don't know. I don't know how, but they think it was someone else. Their witness has given the description of some heavily armed ladies.
What, like big guns? You mean?
Yeah. Like a gang of ladies who they thought had disappeared or had been dealt with. I'm assuming.
What, Lara's band?
I'm assuming.
Oh no.
He meant Lara's band. Yeah.
Our mate, she's okay. Cara, make sure your mate's okay. We don't want her having any trouble.
Well, I think they're looking out for multiples, but it might be worth. She's still at the nunnery, isn't she?
No, she's back in town.
She's back in town now.
Yeah, she came with us. She's going to work in our business. Cara's going to drop her a message whose name I've forgotten, but it's on her phone, so it doesn't matter. No. Narelle was the one that Harrell works with.
Oh, the previous right? Lara's band.
Yeah, Lara's band girl. Yeah. She's going to drop her a message and just say, "Yo, you alright? Everything okay?" Just drop her a message. Hope you're keeping well. Be nice to say hi before we vanish off tomorrow. And just leave it at that.
Okay.
Send.
All right. You're not actually expecting a conversation.
No. I'm just like
just send her a message. Yeah.
Just UK hun kind of thing. Just like make sure she's alright. Oh, Bob! It really exploded. It was quite a moment. It was very much against our usual style of play. I think Ben was shocked.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I was a bit shocked when I said it. Yes, it certainly was. So yeah, it appears we're in the clear. He wouldn't tell me who the witness was. It seems standard, I suppose. They can't go around telling everyone, even when they're not involved in the case anymore.
Okay. You get a little few minutes later, just a little response from Amara, who was the survivor of Lara's band, and she thanks you for the heads up.
Okay, cool. That suggests she's okay. Okay. To the nunnery!
Get thee to a nunnery.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's pretty much pitch dark as you pull into the little precinct in front of the Priory of Panunzio. As you remember, it's a sequence of caves and hollows that have been sort of carved to resemble Gothic architecture, the literal shape of the spire. And as you approach, you are walking up to a closed door, but it has that sort of glow behind it that implies that the place is operating even this late at night.
It has a side mission for us.
Oh, it's been so long since we've had brunch. I hope the nuns can provide some. My belly's empty, my eyes are weary. I'm not going to drive next time because I want to drink. There we go. And Sarai heads inside.
Just quickly, Agnes says, Sarai, what are you singing about? There's no way we're going to get brunch at this time of night. It's far too late.
You never know. They might be able to offer up a little platter of gruel or something. An apple, maybe.
Okay.
It all counts.
Well, in front of you is the airlock door. You can head in if you wish.
Let's head in.
Okay. By the time you've cycled the inner airlock and you are inside that fairly impressive vaulted lobby space, a couple of the sisters are already hurrying towards you. You recognise, actually, one of them, Sister Sion, who was the one you took to the Priory originally.
Oh, yeah. Hey, sister, how are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, we're doing wonderfully, thank you. Life is treating us well. We had a rocky patch. We had some moments, but we're in a really happy place right now. How are things here? Same as always?
We try to think of this place as completely unchanging. In reality, of course, every day is just slightly different. I'm pleased to say we are getting a few more visitors, though, since you cleared the road for us.
Oh, good. Well, we were wondering if you would like a few more visitors. I know that it's something that you used to make use of at the time you talked about it. That you were sad that there were a few people around. How would you like the opportunity to invite more in for the singing and for the overall ambiance?
That would be wonderful, of course.
My colleague Stefan here, we lead the party now between us, and I'm sure he can explain to you the plan.
She sort of casts her eyes back and forth across the group and settles on Rack, and there's a sort of slight eyebrow lift, and she says, "Okay."
He looks like he should be leading us. He's very resplendent, but no, it's this man. And Sarai takes the sister's arm and moves it along a couple to the rather shoddy-looking and less resplendent Stefan. Don't mind him, he's got some pepper in his pocket.
That must be an idiom I'm not familiar with. From off-world, perhaps.
No, actually, we thought I thought we'd bring you a gift, and he brings out the pepper shaker and holds it out. We thoroughly enjoyed our meal the last time we were here, and we're sorry it's not a full set, and there's no salt to go with it either. But this is from us as a thank you for your hospitality.
Oh my goodness!
It's traditional where I'm from.
She takes it. If she is slightly confused at being handed a pepper mill, she doesn't look it. She's gracious enough to say, "Oh, thank you very much." And I'm sure they receive all sorts of gifts all the time, and her reaction is automatic rather than considered, if you know what I mean.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, she's so generous and kind.
He'll say, well, I mean, it's late. We don't necessarily need to get into business straight away. But are we? What's the plan for the evening?
What time is it, Ben?
Just right.
It's close to midnight.
Oh man, there's not much of a plan for evening. We can tell them over breakfast if you want, Stefan. If you're a bit sleepy, get your brain together.
Well, if you wouldn't mind us having a bed or a few beds for the night, we'd very much like to discuss some arrangements that would, as my colleague says, bring some more visitors your way, hopefully.
That sounds wonderful. Do you need food or water before bed?
I'm fine. And Stefan looks over to Soraya.
Am I able to take a plate to my my room? Is that okay? A plateful? I'm quite peckish, it must be said.
A bowlful. The only thing we have this time of night is soup, I'm afraid.
That's perfect. Soup would be super. Thank you.
She leads you through to that little refectory area they have off the lobby, past essentially empty benches for the most part. There are a couple of nuns sitting there in little groups, reading together and chatting before bed, but they're not really doing anything official. They're just a bit of social time, really. And at the end there is one large tureen of soup, and she indicates that you can help yourself, and there's some bread there as well to go with it.
Oh yes, she takes a few slices of bread and the bowl right up to the top, so she's carefully got to hold it in both hands so that it doesn't spill over the edges. The spoon's in her mouth. Lead on.
It's a classy look.
It is a classy look.
And once anyone who wants some has helped themselves to soup, which will definitely include Rack and Jax because they're military and they've never walked past anyone offering them food and not taken some. You hustle your way through to the sort of accommodation areas for guests and can just help yourself pretty much to any of the cells along the corridor.
Wonderful. Is there enough one each? Is that what?
Oh yes.
They're all singles, aren't they? Is that
Yeah,
what
they're
we
all
did last
singles,
time?
and there's more than enough for your group. Yeah.
Sarai puts the bowl of soup down on the little bedside table and walks back up to the door and looks at everyone and says, well, I've got a date with some bread and soup. I'll see you all tomorrow for the morning sing-song. And she shuts the door behind her and heads in.
Excellent. All right.
Yes, Agnar will bid everyone a good night, and so it's well past my bedtime. Us old people have to get more sleep than you young'uns. So I'll see you all in the morning. And he heads off to bed.
Rack and Jax came down to join the rest of you, to sort of pick out a room and throw their bags onto it, so to speak, but left their soup up in the refectory and dived back up to eat before heading back. So they can have a bit of social time together before bed.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Stefan actually is quite excited. He's going to head to bed, and he doesn't feel as though he has to stay up. I think he stayed up most of the last night that we stayed here because he was worried about who were we staying with. He was worried about somebody sneaking off or somebody sneaking into someone's room, and spent most of his night listening to the door.
Yes.
But yeah, he'll totally just go to bed.
Okay.
Not say much, but wave everyone off.
Fair enough. Well, if everyone's happy to draw the curtain on the night at that point, then we will resume in the morning.
Oh, sounds lovely.
So, dawn comes and you all wake at a reasonable time. You can see the texture of the light shining through from the various cracks and gaps around the doors. Picks up in colour and in intensity. And there's movement. You know, the sisters are shuffling back and forth down the corridors and through the passages of the priory. Though it's made of stone, it is a little bit echoey in places, and every now and then something knocks against one of the stone walls and makes a clunk sound, which just adds to that sense of people doing things and bustling about.
Cara wakes early for her. Actually, she's normally a sort of a late waker if given the choice. What she does is she's going to try and log on to the. She puts her headphones in and to listen to some music, and while she lies in bed, and she's going to try and log on to buy 3 tickets for the seamstress, if that's okay, Ben.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to use the Wi-Fi.
That's the future.
Can I log on to the Wi-Fi at the nunnery?
Yeah, what's the is the code?
The Wi-Fi password is Vespers.
Is it on a little thing that's screwed to the back of the door that I can see? Is it?
I'd like to think there's no password at the nunnery. It's just, everyone can
Just free for
log on as they
From
wish.
Doctor Strange, where Tread Ledger hands him the Wi-Fi password.
Yeah.
Is it something I can do? Is it an easy process for 54,000?
Yep, it absolutely is. You don't need local Wi-Fi. You've got communications that can theoretically span the planet, and you can log straightforwardly on and book yourself exactly that. 18,000 per. You need 3 tickets.
Right. So what she's going to do is, before she does it, she's going to move 24 of her own over to the Baltic Inc. account, and then that will cover up the 54. So the Baltic Inc. account's emptied out for now, except for all our fish and our gems, and she'll drop 24 of her own in there as well.
Okay, all right.
Which is 12.80. Dear. She can't buy any more breakfast though. And then she walks out of her room and bangs on Agnar's door, and before he even answers, she opens it and pokes her head around. Hi, Agnar.
There's no answer.
What? Agnar. Agnar. She.
And then, wait,
Agnar.
are there bathrooms, or is it communal bathrooms, Ben? There's not one in each, is there?
The bathroom is at the end of this corridor.
Yeah, he'll come out wrapped in a towel, all dripping wet with his fur.
Ah, there you are.
What are you doing in my room?
I just can't tell you that I booked the tickets for the other 3 for Sammy and Gerg, and that so they can come back with us. I just wanted to tell you. Yeah, I just wanted to tell you, man. I just wanted to tell you. I feel like we haven't had a heart to heart for a while. You know, how you doing? How you keeping? You okay? You look very clean.
Well, you know, it's every third day. You've got to wash the fur out.
You can't go every day because it just gets unbearable. It just gets on. You just can't do anything with it.
Too much for one Varga to handle. There just aren't enough hours in the day, you know. Do you want?
No.
Can we cover it?
Yeah. Yeah, we covered it.
Sure.
Yeah. I chucked them some money and a few fish. It's okay.
Okay. Well, if you need, you know.
I know I can rely on you. Don't worry.
Well, we can all chip in. It's you know, business needs. We're gonna have to get used to manage. Well, we're not management. We're gonna have to get used to, you know, managing these business commitments, financially speaking.
I think so. It's all good. Anyway, if the shower's going, I think I might go grab one actually. And as she heads out the room, she sort of turns around and she says, "Oh."
She says, "Oh."
Yeah, I just had to wait for Sexy Boy to play in my ears. So. That's what she says. Oh, Sexy Boy. Good timing.
That was a long pause.
She says.
Is there something else, Carol?
She says, "Oh, did you know that I think the hair between your shoulder blades is thinning, maybe a little bit. I can see the skin through a little bit. I don't want to, you know. A friend should always tell a friend, you know."
You shouldn't joke about these things because you know Varga don't go bald. If there's a bald patch there, it's probably some underlying medical condition. Agnar would know. I don't. He's a medic. That could be serious, and he'll rush off to his room and try and find 2 mirrors.
And,
you know, mirror and a mirror.
Cara will whistle her way off to the showers.
Wonderful. Feel free to correct me then if that's not correct. Obviously, I'll say it's correct.
Is that the title of the stream? The one where people have less hair than before.
Overnight balding.
Okay, so people begin to assemble. Rack and Jacks have gone up to feed themselves, of course, naturally. There is food, therefore they will eat. And they're chatting amiably and roaring with laughter at each other's jokes in the refectory as people assemble. The only thing that actually slows them down is when people start to shuffle out to do the Sonny Lumiere service, which of course they very much want to enjoy.
Sarai definitely rushes along to be part of that. She absolutely adores it.
You've seen it before, you know what it's like, but it is still really quite moving and quite impressive. You can understand why it's picked up a reputation for making the trip all this way out into the desert worthwhile. The architecture of the building is actually very interesting and very nice. The sisters are really quite welcoming and good to spend time with, and you can even grab a bite to eat or a bed if you need it. But it is this service that really makes it a special occasion.
Halfway through the service, sort of, Sorrel opens her eyes and leans over to Stefan if he's there, and says,
He'll join.
And just says, it's a win-win. More people that visit Dilub Rou need to know about this, you know. It's not all just bars and snakes, you know. This is a beautiful thing, and I hope that we can offer them something good here. And really, how about the nuns?
He'll sort of whisper back as to try and not disturb anyone. I can't believe I missed this first time round. You should have told me it was so good.
Oh, I tried, but you were just like shiftily looking around everywhere. Huh? every noise, every footstep, you're like wired.
I mean, I'm still doing that, but I
just-
can do it here.
You just got to relax sometimes, man. You're so het up, you know. You're so tense, man. So tense.
You know what,
So
though?
tense.
Taking on a management position isn't exactly going to help that, is it?
Are you gonna be okay with management? Is this something that you can do long term? Like you've tried it out for a week. How are you finding it?
It's been okay so far, but you know, it's been quite an easygoing planet, I feel. Certainly a trip this time round, so far. Touch wood.
Yeah, nothing remotely weird's happened.
We'll see. When when shit inevitably hits the fan, I'll let you know. We'll have some management meetings. We can talk things through.
Just know that if that does happen, I'll be hiding behind you.
At the management meeting that is you and me.
Mm-hmm.
That
Well,
sounds about right.
You totally sold me up the creek with our PowerPoint presentation yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I felt like I just, if we're going to do this together, I just feel like I need the support. You know, it's not my strength.
I tell you what, anything that's not your strength from now on, just let me know and I'll try and pick up what I can.
Okay.
I'll do likewise.
That's okay. And then, you know, if we can be strong as leaders together, it frees the other guys to really thrive in their skills. Gives them freedom to really do their thing, whether it's vlogging or floofing.
Well, exactly.
That's their
exactly.
two. That's the two main things they bring.
You know what I was thinking though? I was thinking back to our first trip on the Seamstress, and I don't think any of us really did it then, but we certainly, you know, played a little bit of detective, trying to dig out the murders. And I thought that maybe our management style, we should have like a good cop, bad cop thing going on. And switch it up every now and then. Obviously, you know, no one wants to be the bad cop all the time.
Oh no. Right, you're not starting with the nuns, surely.
No. I was thinking mostly for the other two, and maybe
I see.
maybe a member or two of the crew if they give us any hassle.
I see.
Not on the little things, but if we've got anything big coming up.
Okay, I think that's worth a discussion, isn't it? What you're thinking. Anyway, this is coming to an end now. Shall we go and chat with the Mother Superior about about the deal?
What was their name again?
Well, give me a second, and I'll think back through my memory banks for it. Have I told you that my mind has a different voice to my actual voice? You'd really like it.
Mother Lissa.
Mother Lissa, her name is.
Cara was saying that. I think I overheard her saying that to Echo a little while ago.
Oh, really?
Yesterday. Yeah.
I wonder if it's the same voice. I'll ask her about it.
You owe Ben a beer.
Something about a Ben with no beard or something. I don't know what that means.
Mother Lissa written down.
Oh, Mother Lissa. Oh, that's good. Make a note. Lead up Priory. Let's go find the mother and see if we can bring some. They're not interested in prosperity, but they just want people, don't they? They want to share the joy.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit worried. I don't want us to rock up with a carrier full of people and bring them in for a bit of chanting, and for them all to say, "Oh yeah, we'd love some food," every time they get offered food, and we don't offer anything back other than bringing people out here.
Well, maybe we could offer so that they can get back to the Azure port, the transport. They struggle for transport sometimes.
That's true. To and from for their supplies, we could bring supplies for them. They wouldn't even need to necessarily go if they didn't want to. They could communicate the order, and we could.
Oh, that could be part of the. This is perfect.
Pick it up and bring it with us.
She holds up her fist for a side fist bump. The old that one to the side. I'm a big fan of the side fist bump these days.
Side fist bump.
Yeah. Come on, let's go speak to her.
Perfect. And we'll make our way Or Stefan will make his way quietly out, so I can leave as she wishes. And attempt to locate himself, I guess, somewhere prominent for Mother Alyssa, if she's not wandering around. I assume she'll be part of the service, but I may be wrong.
She's moved out into the lobby area outside the actual chapel itself now, and is, thanking the sisters and just making sure they're heading off in the right direction for their next duty.
Oh, Mother Lissa, do you mind if we Oh, do you mind if I get my guns out?
Mother Lissa.
Mother Lissa.
Do you mind if I flex my muscles at you?
Can you feel this? I've been working out. Have I had any gains in the last few days? It feels bigger. Oh, poops.
Increased gravity.
Yes. Do you mind if we talk for a little while, Mother Lissa?
Not at all. Please, what's on your mind?
We can't have this conversation with you with a beard. I'm sorry, it just feels wrong.
Can you give him a habit instead?
Yeah, just pull your t-shirt up a bit higher at the front. It's black as it is, so it's perfect. Mother Lissa, the last few days has been really interesting for us, and although, as you know, we're from far away and we're moving on again today, we wanted to leave something positive for Azurport and this area as a whole, and we've been putting into place a business plan based out of Azurport to run I guess for tourists, to really get to feel this part, to bring, I don't care about prosperity, but just that good vibes to this part of Dilub Rou, a reason to come here. And so we've got a bar and restaurant there, run by a Varga we know, and we're going to have safaris running out, showing the sand crates and the moabs and all around. They could be headed by our Varga friend who's with us. Not the more the more resplendent one.
Yes. I know the one.
Yeah, so he's going to be sort of heading out, but we've already made a deal with Pan System Power, and we're really going to push for town for people to go out and sort of see the desert. It's all going to be done, respectfully and so on. But we know that before Lara's band, you welcome visitors in, and we managed to get rid of them, and you've already heard there's traffic coming back. But we were wondering if you wanted to, I guess, welcome more visitors for what you have here, the singing and the garden and the surrounds, and just your wonderful hospitality. That we could bring out as part of our safaris. We're also, as part of that, my good friend Stefan here, he's got pepper in his pocket. No, he gave it away. He did have pepper in his pocket.
There's still pepper there.
Just not the shaker. If you want any more pepper, we can get some out. But he came up with an excellent idea that as part of that, what we could do was offer you guys a regular ride to and from Azurport, or to bring supplies for you on a regular basis to just help you guys out, because we're so thankful for what you've done here. We just really want to thank you for all the support you've given us and the wonderful hospitality by offering this, I suppose.
That would be wonderful. If you're running a business that's already sending vehicles out into the desert, if you could just bring our supplies for us and occasionally transport one of us back and forth as needed to Azurport, I mean, that would be amazing. Thank you.
That's okay. Would you be happy to have visitors again?
Oh, definitely. We are essentially self-sufficient in terms of food for the most part when it's just us. But we do need medical supplies. Our mission here is providing medical care. We need visitors to keep our profile up, but also visitors make donations. Those donations pay for medical supplies, they pay for food items we can't grow in our own garden.
Well, it just feels like a good thing to do. So if they go out for a few days into the desert, it just feels like a really nice experience for them to sort of spend one of those nights with you guys. You know, come in the late afternoon, early evening, have that evening, that morning song, get the donation box out, and
We would absolutely love to have them. And if on those trip days you could throw a couple of cases of supplies for us into the vehicle, then that would be tremendous. Sometimes we have recuperating people that we are bringing back to health, and they might need a lift back to Azurport. And occasionally it might even be that you would have the opportunity to bring out people who want to come for their spiritual needs but aren't necessarily willing to buy a ride on a safari journey. But if you could find a way to occasionally slide one or two of those into an empty seat, that would be lovely too.
Yeah, of course. I think Stefan will turn to Soraya and he'll say, I think certainly anybody recuperating from medical needs could certainly potentially have some interesting stories to tell people on safari on the chat on the way back.
Of course you will.
And he'll turn back to Mother Lissa and he'll say, and if you want any advice about raising your profile, speak to Cara. Do the hair thing. Speak to Cara. She's a whiz with social media. She's got a vlog. I don't know if you've seen her. She'll have some great advice.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. That's very kind of you, and hopefully we will see you and your employees many more times.
We hope so. You should certainly see the resplendent Rack. He's someone I think who you'll be able to have these conversations with going forwards, even when we're not around.
Oh, I'll be very happy to spend time speaking with him.
He's a wonderful man to spend time around, isn't he?
Yes, indeed.
What a guy. Stefan, if you grew your hair out a little bit and stood a bit taller, you could pull off the same sort of vibe, I think, to some extent.
I could, but you tend to stand out. I couldn't slink into the shadows if I was resplendent as our friend over there, and he points down the corridor to Rack, standing tall and proud, having a booming conversation with someone, I imagine.
You are a man for your surroundings, Stefan. It's one of your strengths. Thank you, Mother Lissa. We must be going back. We've got a journey to make home later today. Actually, we're heading back on the Seamstress.
Ah, well then, have a good trip.
We will. And, may peace be with you, and all the best.
Thank you very much. She sort of smiles and nods to everybody, and then starts her way out towards that winding spiral staircase that leads up to the garden.
Is your heart all warm and fuzzy, Stefan?
I feel like we've done a good thing. In fact, I'm going to be honest, I feel like this whole venture has could do a lot of good things for pretty much everyone we've met on the planet this time round.
All the ones that we haven't shot or punched.
Well, yeah, the ones that are still alive, obviously.
The survivors.
Survivors.
Yeah.
They're the nicer ones.
Yeah, sure.
So
And you haven't even overthrown the government here.
Yeah. I feel we're in the wrong part of town for that.
We've turned a corner.
Yeah,
we're growing as people. So I sort of leans into him, sort of playfully banging our shoulder against his shoulder. Says, "Come on, let's drag Rack away and see if we can get him to drop us back at Zerport, pack, finish things up, and talk to the council, I guess.
All right. If you're done with the Priory, you clamber out into the G carrier, and Rack gives a cheerful wave to everybody and said, "Right, Azureport." Fires up the engine, and you set off into the desert. And that seems like a good place to take our break.
Nice. It does indeed.
Thank you, Ben. Right, let's do that then. We'll be back in a few minutes, everyone. Don't go everywhere. Ewan is taking over toasting duties this week, I believe.
That's right.
Oh, crap, I forgot about that again.
Do we have to?
Yes,
Yeah, of course we do.
Shan.
Look at him.
How dare you?
Of course we do.
He's gazing over you every minute. Right, so we're back in 5.
Judging me.
Do what you need to do, guys. Take a break, and hopefully we'll see you in a few. Don't go there. Right, now let me click all the things. Right, that's we don't need that. We need that. Let's get rid of that. But we'll get that one. Okay, right. So guys, Ewan.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for fast forwarding for 5 minutes if you're watching on VOD. Don't forget to fill your glasses and charge your glasses as I did. You join us for the most important part of any Baltic Star evening, the toast to our beloved barman who left us far too soon. I think we can all agree. Greyhill Bast, the figurehead for our organisation, both on Dilub Rou, I feel, and in real world. I've got nothing of the kind of poetry that Luke was coming out with. It must be said, but I'd like to take us through an abridged story in honour of Greyhill Bast. So each week we'll have a small segment of the of a story of our beloved barman, and it starts a little something like this. In a star in the sky there lived a Bast, not a nasty, dilapidated Nakuru star filled with electrical faults and a schmoozy heaven, nor yet a clean, bare new star with no one to tend bar nor anything to eat for brunch. It was a Baltic star, and that means comfort. This Bast was a very well-to-do Bast, and his name was Greyhill. Apologies. The Bastses, I have to be really careful how I say that, had lived in the neighbourhood of Dilub Rou for time out of mind, and people considered them very respectable. Not only because most of them were excellent bartenders, but also because they never had any adventures, nor did anything unexpected. You could tell what a Bast would say on any question without the bother of asking them. This is the story of how one Bast had an adventure and found himself doing and saying things altogether unexpected. He may have lost the neighbours' respect, but he gained, well, you'll see whether he gained anything in the end. And on that cliffhanger, I'd like to raise a glass to the late, great Greyhill Bast.
Greyhill Bast.
Greyhill Bast.
Oh, thank you, Ewan. That was lovely.
You're welcome.
Oh, he's
You're very welcome.
going on an adventure.
He is. I feel as though gifts need to be made of this, with his face superimposed.
I mean, I feel we already know some parts of how the adventure goes. But I'm hoping there are still some surprises.
Well, hopefully it'll be a nice amalgamation of a couple of tales.
That would be lovely.
And if not, we'll just go back to gambling next week and someone else can take it. Worst case scenario.
You're in it now for about 500 pages worth, mate.
I've got a trilogy to write. Great. Did not pick this one through.
But 2027, I think we're moving on to Ben.
Okay, so we find ourselves heading off. The sun beating down on the fairly pitiless desert as you head your way to Azureport, or am I reading too much into that?
I think you're reading just about the right amount.
Okay.
No.
All right. Then you head off towards Azureport. This is sort of an intermediate length drive for the group that you've been doing so far, an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of travel. But it's fairly comfortable. Who's going to be doing the driving?
Rack, I'm guessing.
Okay. Fair enough. It's not quite as slick as Soraya managed,
Embarrassing.
but it's smoothly handled enough. And before you know it, you're pulling up in that apron area in front of the domes of the city, having passed through one of the relatively broad cuts through the ring around it.
The council office is in Azureport, isn't it, Ben? We haven't set
Yes.
us in the wrong direction. Yeah, okay, cool. Look like another 2 hours. Back out to there again.
It's next door to the priory.
Kara nudges Agnar and says, "You know, this might be the last time you spend time physically in Rack's presence for quite some time." And he's just about to go.
What? I don't get what you're saying.
At least give him a handshake.
Oh, let's go say goodbye, shall we? Agnar will walk up and say, "It's been a pleasure, a pleasure to have met you, and a pleasure to have spent all this time here, and to get to know you, and to help you with your new venture, and for you to help us with our new venture, I suppose." Can I just say on behalf of both the military and Varga everywhere, good luck with your retirement. It's well deserved. At ease, soldier. And he'll salute him and walk away.
Thank you, sir. He sort of glances across at Jax, and there's a sort of brief moment where he gives a little sort of shrug, and then Jax looks back at him and says, "No, I don't understand officers either."
Sarai wanders up next and sort of just goes out for a more casual fist bump. Cheers, guys. See you soon. All the best. Enjoy your time here. Don't get up to any trouble.
Thank you. Have a good trip out to. Well, I don't think you know where you're going yet, do you?
First things first. Geeker, I believe, to start with.
That's a start.
Up the geeks.
Up the geeks.
Thank you for all your help and everything. We couldn't have done it without you, and I hope you enjoy running the business this end.
Well, thank you. It was a lot of fun, and you helped clear out my home of a little bug infestation, which was wonderful. And then there were some very confusing parts, but now it turns out I get to charge around the desert showing off. Could be worse.
Oh, it's like the dream. Oh, hang on. Well, that floof, Spares, or the other floof? We could just put all the floof on if you want. Oh, no.
It's all the floof.
All the floof. There you go. Lots of floof. And Cara turns to Agnar and says, right, shall we go and do the, she says, what I've done, Sarah doesn't know this, right? But hopefully her and Stefan will appreciate this. And she reaches into her bag and pulls out her laptop and says, Stefan, you know we've got the meeting with the council today, yeah? You want to meet about this this dream building of yours, this business?
We would like to meet about regarding our new business venture. Our new business, yeah.
Well, you guys have been the brains behind it all, but I just want to show you what I've been doing the last few evenings and on the transport when I've been alone. And show him the laptop and flicks through to show some nice. Oh, well, I don't know how nicely. Might depend on Ben. A presentation where she's pulled some pictures of the place. And some nice visuals. It might not have much weight to it, but it looks probably nice.
Mm.
I hope this is helpful, guys.
Let's find out. Can you do a visual media check?
As you're doing that, look, are they pictures of the building?
There's like the picture of the building. There's the building, and then there's one that she sort of photoshopped to look more as it could look in the place, and then you know where she's found the top down like the Google Earth type one, but she's done it with the trails of like the safari, like driving off with the little tracks and things like that. A kind of sketch thing about how what's his name's place is going to look, and sort of a few faces here and there, some smiling people holding glasses. You know, she's composite stuff that she's done over the evenings.
Nice.
It's why she's been going to bed earlier generally the last couple of nights. You see. Right, there we go. What am I adding to this, by the way, Ben? As I roll it, sorry.
Visual media.
Yep.
With education.
Okay. Visual media plus education is +4, which is probably good because I rolled a 6. So that's a 10.
Okay. They are a very nice set of designs and sketches. There's stuff there that can be left with the people who are leaving behind, who can make sure they get the colour scheme you're looking for, who can understand how the backyard is supposed to be laid out. And there are things that would be useful for promotional materials, logos and graphics and things of that nature. And quite a nice looking picture of a sort of sketch of how the front part, the lobby part of the building would look when turned into not just a bar, but a bar with that rather nice overlooking balcony. And the designs on the walls of sort of wildlife and sort of intertwined, almost like mosaic patterns of how, moanths could be stylized for the decoration. It is a nice thing.
I hope you guys appreciate it, and I hope it will be helpful.
These are really impressive. Well done, Carl. It's some really positive. It's a really positive image that you've portrayed here for our business. Thanks. Thank you.
I felt freed up with you guys taking on leadership so strongly. I felt freed up to grow within myself.
It shows great initiative and great forethought, and great planning. Well done. And he whispers over to Soraya, "We'll need more stuffed Moab heads on the wall than in these pictures." But don't tell Cara.
Oh yeah, because Cara's not into the hunting. That's for sure. Is that where we're going first then, guys? I could do with a little bit of shopping quickly, but should we get this the last I's dotted and T's crossed?
Yeah. What are you after? We'll keep an eye out on the way, I guess. Save doubling back.
Usual stuff. All the stuff that I've used, really. EMPs, grenades. If there's a drug store, some drugs I could do with. Not Starlight drops, I've got 31 of them. That'll keep me going from that to
the kind of thing
eternity.
you're after would be more likely to be found in the ring rather than the domes.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Okay.
So if you're starting in the domes, this might be the place to start with the council first.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, let's do that. We'll keep an eye out on the way, but we'll head towards the council build.
Okay.
Unless anyone else has anything to do.
Nope, not me.
All right. So you head off towards the council offices. I mean, the domes are big, but it's still not that many minutes walk before you find yourself in front of them. Inside, you can actually see, wandering around through the building, the chap you spoke to before, Voca Grill.
Oh no, that's a long lost name. Right, Mr. Grill, how are you today?
My word. Welcome back. How nice to see you again. Are you still interested in that building?
Are we still interested in that building?
Well, we've been umming and ahhing for some time now, but I think we may be willing to discuss our options.
Well, excellent.
Are you free? Do you have a minute?
Yeah, please come through. And he waves you through. He sort of looks at the size of your group and realizes his office probably isn't the ideal place for that. So waves you through to a sort of a meeting room down at one side of the building.
Found his name. I found that last name.
In there's a computer, there's a big display screen, there's a big table and seats all the way down. If Cara needs to lay things out on the table, there's a table for that.
She does like laying things out on the table. Let's lay things out on the table.
That's a throwback.
Let me just set this up for you guys, okay? I'm just gonna lay some things out on the table. And she sort of puts the laptop down, opens it up, flicks it out, finds that first page, and she'll call it "Making Dreams a Reality." Is the front page.
Making dreams a reality.
A very nice font, it must be said. And she has a little button. She has a little button ready to press. She's got it set up to a device, of course, ready to press as people talk. She turns to Stefan and says, "Ready when you are."
Stefan will say, "I don't suppose there's any chance of a coffee while we discuss
certainly
systems,
is.
that?
Grill walks over to a machine they actually have in the meeting rooms, which can dispense drinks. I'm afraid they're all soft drinks, but we can do coffee, tea, cold drinks.
Coffee would be perfect for me, Stefan, I'll say.
Soraya whispers to Stefan, all soft drinks. Can we trust this guy?
I don't even like coffee. It's just a power play for him to get me something. We've got to set the tone of the meeting. Thank you kindly, and Stefan will take a swig of the coffee as he brings it over. Try not to wince too much.
Okay, so drinks are rapidly dispensed. Grill decides to have a glass of water for himself as well, and sits down with an expectant look on his face. So, what are we doing?
So we've come together with a business proposal for said property. We're under the impression that you would like to see that before we progress any further and understand exactly what it is we're going to be bringing to should we say the less than vibrant community that currently is that area of the Outer Rings.
Well, yes. I mean, I think I told you we'd love to have a business set up there as long as it is locally managed.
Yes, of course. I'm not sure whether we mentioned it before, but we are personally heading off-world rather soon, I think, aren't we, Soraya?
Yes.
But we do have Cara. Have you got a picture of? Did you prepare one of the resplendent man himself?
I did, and she flicks through and she says, "This is the place as it was a couple of days ago," and she shows a picture of the venue, and she says, "Across the way you can see this place," and there's a picture of Degek's bar, and so and this is what it could be, and she flicks up. And it's been superimposed where there's like it's got the big sign of what do we call it? Telon's Trails, was it? Telon's Tours, something like that. Telon's Tours, I think it was. Mm-hmm. Big sign of Telon's Tours, and then but with like Degek's bar as part of it, but it's looking nice and swanky, spangly. There's sort of people standing around outside, even in their masks, though, but sort of like looking happy. Nice windows, it's looking good. That's that frontage from like the square area. Says, "This is the one you want, Stefan, correct?"
Yes. Well, I was after I don't know whether you'd superimposed any with our figurehead, Mr. Rack.
Oh, I have.
On that.
I have. She flicks her through to one where there's a picture of like Rack standing next to on one side, Rack standing next to a a vehicle, and also Degek behind the bar looking. Basically, he's just lifted it from one of his old pictures from his website, wherever, just into the new place.
I'm sure you're familiar with obviously the resplendent Telon Rack poster boy. Poster boy of the army. Ben, correct me if I'm wrong.
Marines. There's a sort of brief check on his computer. I'm not personally familiar with the Varga in question. However, he is seemingly a resident of Dilub Rou in good standing and in the neighbourhood of Azureport. I'm actually familiar with Mr. Degek. I've had a few drinks in his establishment.
Well, between our friend here who'll be running, or at least overseeing the excursions, I imagine, and Mr. Degek, who will be overseeing the hospitality side of the business, we indeed do have an on-world management team raring to go, and to drive our business forward, I believe.
And the nature of the business is trips out into the desert.
Yes, we've secured a contract with Soraya. What was the name of?
PSP, Power System Power that they've got some VIP guests?
Yes,
We've
indeed.
got, I believe, the vehicles were with the local guy, whose name. Yeah, this is not her being unprofessional. This is just me flicking through my notes.
Yeah.
Because she knows. Lane Jarek. I don't know if you know him. He's providing the vehicles for it and looking after things at end. We've got a guy who's going to provide experiences with potential sand crates. We've got in touch with the nunnery. We're going to be working with those as part of the trip as well. We're just trying to tie in a lot of local people, I guess, to make the area a real jewel in the crown, I guess, for people wanting to visit the port.
But we're not all about business, right?
Oh,
We have
no,
also
no.
offered some aid to the Priory. We figure if we're running tours out that way anyway, we can help them with some supply runs and any trips into town that they'll need to make, out of the kindness of our heart.
Oh, exactly.
We're all about giving back to the local community.
In fact, we've hired a few. We've already looked at hiring a few local residents who are without a job at the minute. So we're bringing jobs to the community as well. Is our plan. They'll all be locals working.
Well, this undeniably ticks every box that we care about as regards this. The only remaining thing is sorting out the finance, of course.
We were agreed a mortgage, if we so wished. Just need to flick out the details. But of course, Mr. Degek agreed to take on half of the amount. We'd actually had a mortgage agreed for the whole amount, with Mr. von Cotswold in the local mortgage company, the local bank.
Yes.
He'd Kevin Prosecco von Cotswold, I believe, quite one of the flashier von Cotswolds, I believe, bit of a party boy, I'm guessing.
I've met him.
Is he as obnoxious as he sounds?
Studious, quiet, competent, I think.
Okay. He came across differently on the phone, but I guess we haven't talked to him once, and I'm sure you've met him many times. But he's offered us a deal, and imagine if we go back needing half the amount, and he can also offer it to us, and I'd imagine we could have that all written up and signed off for you by the end of the day, I would imagine.
That's excellent. Yes, that would be fantastic. If you have any more questions or concerns, I'd be happy to answer them. But I will put you down as taking, in concert with Mr. Degek, joint ownership of the property, with the understanding that you'll be running a business that you will invest in, but will be managed locally.
Fantastic.
I suppose the only question I have, Stefan was saying, twiddling his fingers. When we're talking tax rates, business tax rates on World, what sort of figures are we talking?
Generally speaking, because it does depend a little bit on the nature of the business.
Of course.
But generally speaking, businesses pay a typical 10% of all profits after their core operating costs are paid, which can be reduced based on the appeals of the business owners if the business is providing special value to the community.
Well, that's interesting. We have been the people that we were looking at employing to work there were people that didn't have jobs, didn't have places to stay. So we were definitely, that was something we were looking at, small small size and also the bigger picture. Yeah, working with those around to bring more people to his airport. I'm sure that could be. They could probably argue that in the coming months, I would imagine.
Roll a persuade check for me, please.
And of course, our partnership with the charitable nuns.
Ah, the charitable nuns.
The charitable nuns, yeah, with intellect, please.
Okay. He added the intellect because of charitable nuns. But, yeah. It's a 7. It's a 7, but it's 7 plus 4, which is 11.
Okay.
It's the thing when you hit plus 4, you've only got to hit a 6 or a 7.
I can't imagine that your business would qualify as a special discount in the long term. It's a tourism business, ultimately. However, I can probably arrange for you to pay no business rates for the first 6 months.
Okay. That sounds very fair. As we set up, that sounds wonderful.
Very generous of you.
Well, as you said, charitable nuns.
Indeed.
We all love the nuns. Have you ever been over there to take evening or morning song at all?
I have had the pleasure. Only once, but I have had the pleasure.
Well, if you want to go back, I'm sure in a few months' time we'll be able to take you over there free of charge. As for such a nice deal you've done for us to do.
Can you roll a persuade with intellect, please?
Where's the schmooze value?
Does he think you're bribing him? And does he have rules?
Persuade and intellect. We'll see. That's a 5 plus 4 is 9.
He looks a little bit concerned, but decides to give you the benefit of the doubt and nods and says, "Thank you.
That's okay.
We'll see."
Yeah, we will.
No pressure, of course. Ever.
Looks like you're a busy man. Anyway, we'll make sure the papers are faxed through to you. I know all business is done by fax anywhere around the universe. It's how things are done, no doubt. And we'll have that with you by today, I'm guessing.
Okay.
We might be gone by the time the keys need to be handed out, but we know the man to hand the keys to. They get a big good man. So.
Yes, no problem at all. If he's part owner of the business and part owner of the building, it's no issue.
Okay.
Wonderful stuff. Is there anything else you need from us at all? Cara, you no doubt many more slides of wonderful examples of what could be done with the building and branding and.
Yeah, she keeps flicking through whether he's interested or not.
Truthfully, how you run the business is your concern, not mine. My only responsibility is making sure that the local community gets a fair price and it goes into the hands of people who can provide some kind of service to the business community locally.
Yes, of course. Well, that's a wonderful thing to hear from a local government. That must be said.
Well, it is the job. You wouldn't go into government if you didn't believe wholeheartedly in supporting everybody properly, would you?
Well, you'd think that, but let me tell you, my friend and I here have been to many worlds. It's not always the case.
Well, those worlds must be terrible, bleak places.
They were. Yes. Well, I certainly have no other questions. Stefan or so. Sorry? Carl?
It all sounds eloquent to me.
Okay. Thank you very much then. He stands up and offers a hand to everyone around the table. It's a pleasure to see a new business starting.
Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you for the coffee. Stefan, I'll take another swig and pop it down on the table. 3/4 full still.
Yes. Okay. You have your approval.
And Stefan certainly leaves. Probably having some weird feeling of imposter syndrome. Trying not to look over his shoulder like, how did we just do that?
Kara's still clicking through the last slides, even if the guy's not paying any attention anymore. And we're thinking blue for this wall would really work, and this is the logo we're looking at. And then she realised he's not paying attention. Okay, well, thank you for your time. Let's call Von Cotswold, and hopefully this won't take too much time, I guess, because it's all numbers in it, Ben.
Yes. I'm sure you can do this literally in the corridor as you sort things out. So, to go quickly through the numbers, your original deal was predicated on a 1.6 mega credit mortgage.
Yes.
Am I right in saying you now are aiming for an 800,000 credit mortgage?
We need to cover 1 mega credit, so that would mean 200,000 between each of us, which means we each need to drop 50,000 in. Are we okay to do that, Ewan, if that's the case?
50,000.
Kara's down to the last 38,000 at that point.
We've come this far. Yeah, sure. I'm good with that.
Yes, an 800,000 mortgage then, please. It's a lot. It's tougher than real life. Man.
I'll save off marking it off until we get the rate. Just in case. You don't want to sign on the dotted line of your character sheet before
There's probably
the
other.
referee is giving you.
There's probably other banks around on Dilub Rou, I'd imagine. Oh, really, Spez? It's that serious? Oh my goodness. I'm buying this. I'm handing my money over. Yeah, I suppose that's true actually. So everything's got to be whiter than white until you get into actual high government, and then it's all proper backhanders and corporate schmoozing and greasy poles and all sorts of things, isn't it? At that point, oh goodness, it's the lower guys that have to do it properly. It's a good way to go, Ben. Save it for when it's really worthwhile. If someone offered me a hot tub right now, I'd take it, it must be said.
Right this second.
Right this second, who's going to bribe me?
I'd take a cold plunge
A
pool
cold
right about now. Yeah.
Right this second. Okay. So the deal is you're going for what? You're splitting. You're taking a mega credit out total.
Yeah.
But and that's the actual loan you're taking.
We'll cover 200,000 between us from our pockets. So it's an 800,000 loan, please.
Okay, an 800,000 loan. Yep, that's fine. So, on that basis, you are committing to paying 8,000 credits a month between you for the next 10 years.
Oh, yes.
For everyone watching, that's 10 years in game time. So
That's about 70 years in our speed.
Yeah, it's about 130 years of actual play.
yeah.
Sarai puts her hand over the device and sort of laughs at the other, says, joke's on him. I plan to be dead by then. And he says, yeah, that sounds alright. 8,000. Just means you've got to do some jobs, guys. Agnar, we just need to cut back on some of your whiskies.
Agnar starts searching the average life expectancy of a Varga.
But to be honest, Agnar, you've got a lot less time than we have. You might be the one that gets away with this, I'll tell you.
Just means less mortgage to pay for me, doesn't it? Silver linings and all that.
Oh, I'll have to cover that
Absolutely.
8 between us.
It's always good when you can look on the bright side of death.
it's
As
two.
Monty Python once sang.
It's 2 fingers up to the system, is what it is. Ah, mortgage company. And I've got no
You
kids.
thought you had me.
Yeah, exactly. And I slipped through your fingers. Nah. No, that works good to me. I think that seems reasonable.
Okay.
I'll put that in. I better write that in the.
Right.
Are you gonna? Is that something you're gonna put us up on, Ben? Is that something that's going somewhere, or do we need to remember that?
I will. What I will do.
It'll be about
is...
December before we have to make our first payment.
Yeah, I will put it in the overview notes for the campaign.
Okay.
So effectively, I will dock you 8,000 credits every game month.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep.
That's fair.
And we're dropping 50
okay.
each, and we're going 50 each now. It's been decided. The car's not got much. No. The pocket nuke dream is a long way away now.
Agnar looks at Kara and says, "Now we've got a mortgage. Should we? We're not in the safest line of work. Should we? Do we need to start thinking about life insurance?
Mate,
You know, I'd hate for the other 3 to have to cover my 8,000 a month,
yeah, but
or my third of 8,000.
Yeah, but Agnar, at your age, life insurance is going to be expensive. Probably
That's
easier just
true.
to deal with the mortgage.
Maybe pet insurance.
I've heard that's even worse.
Do you think they'd pay out?
A friend has told me that pet insurance is disgustingly expensive.
Oh.
Just-
Well, we've got time to think about it. It's not, you know.
No, just stay when there's a fight. Just stay at the back with me. All right. Leave our 2 leaders to look after all the dangerous stuff. That's what I do.
Sounds fair.
Okay.
We own a
So-
property. We own a business, everyone.
You own a business.
All our friends and one sinister person works there. What joy. I've achieved more in a game than I have in my life.
That's why we play, isn't it?
Yeah. But you see, in your life, you don't have people occasionally buying boons for you.
Oh, if only they did, eh?
That's very true.
Whenever I have to make a serious call or something, I need spares or fids to just I need to be able to call them out and then just shout "Boon!" in the middle of a conversation with someone. It works so well.
Stefan about to Kara and said, "Kara, I was really impressed with all those graphics you did. They were top notch. They really helped secure the deal for us. Thank you. It's much appreciated. I don't suppose anywhere in your old camera reel you've got a picture of our buddy. You know, that guy that we don't like to say his name.
You know what? The resplendent rack.
No, the
guy-
our evil buddy.
Oh, the guy.
It rhymes with mess.
Steve Kress from that planet back in the day.
No.
Nigel Hess. He was one of your privates.
The one who could read all our minds.
Ah, that guy. Oh, I don't think I do.
Anton.
I don't think I do.
Listen, if you could Google one, it would be nice to put up like a little. You know, like how some bars have "Do not serve these people."
Actually, you know, I said I don't. If I go through my notes enough, I'm pretty certain at one point I did it, just shoved it in his face, and Ben actually styled it out like he literally didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
I think I actually have got one that would be sort of from, you know, a bit up the nose kind of position from her low position. I'd have to look through the notes to be honest, but I'm pretty certain. I don't know if that sounds legit, Ben.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
Yeah. Just look, I'll flick through. It'll be a long way back. I take thousands of photos every day, to be honest.
Yeah. But I mean, if you can make up a, do not serve or employ this person notice, and we can stick it behind, send it over to our buddy, and he can stick it behind the bar. That'd be useful, just in case,
I like it. Yeah.
You know me, I'm overly paranoid.
Well, this is what's kept you going, to be honest.
Very true.
Kept you alive. Yep.
Thanks.
Oh, it's
Much
okay.
appreciated.
It's okay. Anything to help out my posse. Well, speaking of which, I need some drugs and bombs. Don't know about you.
Yeah, sure. Where I guess we're heading back central.
If you are heading out looking for stuff like that, you should probably be looking at the ring, I would think.
The woman at the Circle Club told us somewhere, but that's absolutely ages ago. And I can't remember.
Wasn't that the same place that Stefan went to get his phone? Wasn't it the phone shop where we went to get dodgy arms? Or we asked someone there about it and we went back to someone's house, didn't we? Or was it actually at the place?
Yeah, you went to the Com Shack as a consequence, and you made a connection there.
Yes.
We're doing making connections with people when I'm not around,
Stefan will say. It was. I think I can remember where it was.
Connections.
I'm not very good with like directions or road names or stuff like that. But get us to the Com Shack and I can. I'm pretty sure I can remember what building it was next to, or where we have to turn. Visual memory.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, okay, I'll follow you. Lead the way.
All right.
That's Creaser Drac, the weapons dealer.
Yes. So, are you heading out to Creaser's place, or to the Com Shack, or are you going to the Circle Club?
And it's up to you. You're in need of the shopping.
But if anyone else needs some, should we split? Go half to hers, half for the shop, and we'll grab for the other people if they need anything.
Yeah, we can message. We'll keep it. Save a bit of time. For sure.
Yes. Could we do that, please, Ben?
So, who's going where?
Stefan will not go to the Com Shack if that's possible.
That's fine.
Soraya will go with him to the house then, the place.
To Drac's house.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and the others are going to the Com Shack?
yeah, please.
All right. So, let's do Drac's house first. So, Stefan and Soraya arrive at Creaser Drac's house. It's not an enormously long way to cross the open space of the landing port, but you are walking, so it takes 15 minutes or so. Once there, you head into the slightly lower rent portions of the ring, and wend your way through to Creaser Drac's property.
Stefan will give it a knock on the door.
Give it a solid knock.
Yeah.
There's no response.
he'll look around for a little bit and look to Soraya and shrug, I guess. Should we try again?
Go on, bang a bit louder. Maybe she's in the bath.
He'll pick up the knock. And give it a good solid rap.
Okay. No sign of response at all.
Did we get any? I can't remember. Did we get any contact details for the for Creaser?
I'm afraid not. You met her twice now, but you didn't get any offline connection. Both times you met her, I mean, different places, but you met her somewhere you could actually do a trade in person.
Should we head to the Circle Club? See if there's any news there. It's the only other place we know that have any link to her.
Yeah, I mean,
mess with the com shack.
We could do, and Stefan will sort of shoot her a look that he's probably given her before, or we could try and get in and see if they're okay.
Stefan Miller, are you suggesting breaking and entering into the house of some upstanding citizen?
I'm suggesting that we've not had an answer from an upstanding citizen's door, who we are well acquainted with, obviously, and we're concerned for their well-being.
Oh, you think she might have slipped over in the bath, banged her head or something?
I mean, anything could have happened. It's a bit of a dodgy neighbourhood. As we're having this conversation, he's looking sort of up and down I assume the corridor or the hallway, and looking for people or cameras.
Well, you got to do it now because Spez has redeemed Stefan's sneaky masterclass.
Okay. So, let's start. This is going to be, a few things. So let's start with a streetwise check for Soraya, please.
Okay.
With intellect.
Oh, thank goodness for that. That helps a little bit. Depends how hard it is, because it was a 7, but it's +2 is a 9.
Okay. All right. This little sort of back alley is quiet. In fact, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Drac chose this because it's quiet. Her business is not necessarily the most the most widely advertised in town. So as far as you can tell, no one is in a position to observe. So, Stefan, I think we're going to go in this case because you're doing sort of an investigation check to find out what the nature of the door and the lock and things of that sort of thing are. So can you do an investigation with intellect, please?
Yes, he can. That's a 5 minus 3. Is a 2.
Is a 2.
Well, yes.
Okay. You're not able to find any obvious sign that it's going to be an easy thing to break. You're going to have to rely on either brute force or an actual skilled attack on it in order to get inside. There doesn't seem to be any kind of shortcut that just anybody could do.
Okay. He'll say to Soraya, it's not a door I'm familiar with. It might be a kick it down sort of job.
Kick it down,
Do you feel comfortable with that, or is lips around?
Right, I wasn't even able to punch you in the shoulder earlier.
Right in the pepper shaker.
Right in the pepper shaker. That's a euphemistic pepper verb one. Right in the pepper shaker. You're stronger than me. I'll keep an eye out for you. We can do it together, or I'll keep an eye out for you.
You keep an eye. I'll do what I can.
All right. Going to try to force the door.
Yeah, he'll sort of lean up against it with his back, and he'll kick back into it with a heel.
All right.
Oh, he's got a boon though.
Wow.
Spez has given you a boon though.
Oh,
Okay.
thanks. Sparrow is like the anti-socks tonight. Socks is making us break into everything, and Sparrow's helping us out.
Yes, you can have a boon. It's going to be athletics, strength with strength, please.
Wonderful. Good news is they're both zeros. I will use my boon. Pretty good. That's 10. I don't know how good it needs to be.
10. Okay. The building is not in the very best of condition, and indeed, as you kick your way through, you do feel the door, one of the sort of retaining positions on it, just crack. And without too much effort after that, you are able to slide it open.
Wonderful. He'll slide it open, and he'll turn to Soraya and he'll just say, "It's a bit dusty in there. Have you got anything that we can, sort of cover our faces with?"
Dear.
As Soraya's trying to work that out, can you also do a stealth check for me with Dex?
Me or Soraya?
Yes, you. Sorry, Stefan.
That's okay. I'll take it. That's an 8 plus 3.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So, are you in fact going to cover your faces?
With what we can. I don't know. If she's in, she might start shooting. All my geeker stuff is back at the hotel.
You want to make out as though we're the geeks fan club.
We are the geeks. We are the geeks. We are the geek troublemakers.
Well, naturally, yes. Okay.
I don't know. If she got cameras.
Listen, if you're not feeling comfortable, it's perfectly fine. I can't even remember what Soraya was after. What was it? Some EPMs and some belching charges or something like that.
Yeah, I could do some breaching, and Cara needs some EMPs and some other bits and pieces.
Breaching,
and grenades. If she's there, I don't know. It's hard. Like, if it's cameras, we don't want to be seen. If she's there, you don't want to go charging in like Billy the Kid. He's some old Terran thing I used to watch on my old videos when I was flying around the edges, So I don't know. It's up to you, Stefan. You're leading the way anyway. I'm lurking. Make a leadership call.
Stefan will put on a deep voice, and he'll call into the room in the least Stefan kind of vocal way he can. Cressa, are you in there? It's Billy. And see if there's any response, I suppose.
There is no response back.
I'm pretty sure if she was home, she'd have reacted to
Billy.
to the door being kicked in by Billy the Kid. If he's as famous as you say,
Billy, I mean...
if he's as famous as you say he is, Soraya.
Mate, to me, someone that had like 7 hours every day by myself to just kill when I'm not doing anything. For 12 years.
That's fair. I tell you what, this seems... I can see you're uncomfortable, and this seems a little bit reckless. Let's head to the Circle Club, shall we?
Okay. So you set off towards the Circle Club, casting around you to make sure you're not followed. Can you both roll streetwise checks for me, please?
Ooh,
With intellect.
that's the best one on the night so far.
Well
That's an
done.
11 plus 2.
That's good because I have missed it. With intellect, you say. That's a 5 plus 2, 7.
Okay. You initially, as you walk, you're a bit nervous, but your confidence starts to return as you get closer to the Circle Club. Nobody seems to be following you or paying any attention or anything like that.
Stefan probably feels a little bit of an unscratched itch, and as we walk, he will keep an eye out for anybody who seems particularly, I guess, the kind of person that Stefan and Soraya are likely to steal off of. Somebody who's, quite well-to-do, maybe a little bit.
You're not really going to see anyone like that.
Or someone who's a little bit of an arsehole.
Oh, you're definitely going to see people like that in this neighbourhood.
Just got to
Yeah.
look in the
But
mirror,
obviously
Stefan.
projecting that. He'll keep an eye out for them.
Okay. Well, you had a very good streetwise check. So, yeah, you'll pass one or two people on the way.
And as we pass one, he'll sort of try and lead them as close as possible, and as they get closer, he'll just say, "Soraya, give me a bump," and he'll try and bump into them and enact a Stefan's sneaky masterclass and steal something off of them. Whatever's in their pocket.
Okay.
I can't just not
Masterclass,
let
of course.
someone
Pay
spend
for
their
it.
hard-earned points. Socks has spent their hard-earned points.
You got to do it.
All right.
Yeah.
It's going to be a deception check with Dex, please.
That's fair. It's not his best. But it's not bad. It's a 7 plus 2.
Okay. Yeah, you manage to sleight of hand your way into somebody's pocket as you bump into them, and you find something in there and you pull it out and swing it across the front of your body to get it out of the line of sight and move on without breaking stride. You've done more elegant work, but it seemed to hold together.
Fair. And he'll sort of relax a little bit into it and, feel as though that urge has been lifted off of his shoulders, I suppose. To the Circle Club.
To the Circle Club.
Circle Club. Okay.
Circle Club.
You've been heading in that direction anyway. It's only a couple of minutes before you get to the Circle Club. The Circle Club is where the other two members of the party were already going, isn't it?
They were going to the Com Shack.
Were they? Okay, then forget that. Let's go to the Com Shack now, and we'll come back to the Circle Shack. To the
Yes.
Circle Club. Com Shack now.
To the
Okay.
Com Shack.
Com Shack, other two, Agnar and Kara. Okay?
Yes. Sounds
All
good.
right. So they arrive at the Com Shack, which appears to be open for business.
After you, Carla. Agnar will hold the airlock,
Okay.
hold the door.
Why, thank you very much. And she goes.
And Agnar will follow in.
Okay. The place is as you remember it. The layout is simple. It's an inexpensive sort of place. A few display cabinets with bits of electronic equipment on the walls and the like.
Who's behind the counter? Is there anyone there?
No, a fairly generic Tim.
Oh. Hey, Tim, is Creaser here today?
Can you roll a persuade for me, please, with intellect?
I can. It's a 6. Sorry, it's a 3. Plus 4. Oh, that's really bad for the camera. Plus a 4 is 10.
Okay. He eyes you up and down, and then he says, "Not today. Sorry."
That's all right. Thanks, though, Tim. You don't happen to sell any She looks funny. You don't have to sell any like medication or weapons, do you?
Weapons.
I use the word weapons loosely. Not bazookas and pocket nukes. I know that's ridiculous.
Yes.
But, you know, Azerport's a dangerous place, you know. We're just looking for a place. We're new in town, you know.
Okay.
And we were told the Comp Shack was a good place to start. We were given Creaser's name. We were just told it was a good place to start.
I mean, going to Creaser is probably a good choice, but I haven't seen her today.
Okay. Thanks anyway. I appreciate it. You take care of yourself, Tim. If she's not here, where's she likely to be? Do you know at all?
Well, she does business in the lagoon sometimes, shipping in and out. Other than that, think bars with quiet corners that aren't too brightly lit, where she can do a bit of business.
Oh, we know just the place. Thank you, Tim. You've been really, really helpful. We really appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Oh, thank you. Have a nice day yourself.
Right, Mark, do you want anything while my wallet's out?
No, I think I make do. I was just looking at one of these personal communicators. You know, the ones with the big numbers for large Varga fingers. But I'm coping okay. I don't think I need the large number version just yet. Give it a few years, maybe.
Oh, okay. Right, name
Well,
an
thanks.
NPC Dancing Carl at some point, but I don't know if you saw it.
Okay.
I'm glad I know. I was only offering because I felt I had to.
Oh well, never feel that.
You know how
no
it
need.
is. You get us so many things, and we appreciate you.
Thanks. Well, maybe you can save up for my 50th and
Mate,
get one of those sweet large button phones. Personal communicators.
Wasn't it your 50th last year?
Oi. Less on that.
Come on, let's go to one of these dark and dingy bars.
All right. So you head outside. Are you, in fact, heading to the Circle Club?
I think it's our one bar lead, isn't it? Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I guess we haven't mentioned that that's also where Stefan and Soraya are going.
It just
as
be
far
by
as they know.
chance. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So you, as you make your way down to the Circle Club, you're actually approaching from opposite directions. So as each of you arrive, you notice the other party coming.
Oh.
There's a sort of one of those silent exchanges of shrugs and nods of the head and shakes of the head and things like that, indicating that nothing has gone as planned at this point. But as you come together in front of the circle bar, we'll call it for tonight.
Thank you.
Ah.
Thank you, Ben. I'm so struggling. I do apologise.
There's no reason to apologise.
Absolutely
We've put in a
nothing.
few hours.
Yep, and I'm very hot.
And
Yeah.
we've
Where-
got a few things to tick off next time, and then we can draw a line under Dilub Rou, which will line up perfectly for our mid-season catch-up.
Yes,
It will indeed.
because in fact, not next week, but the week after, we have our mid-season catch-up. Which is what's that? It's the second, the first. What is it? The second. What's the Friday? The
I was
first.
going to say it's definitely the second mid-season catch-up because we're in season 2.
Oh no.
And we did do a mid-season in season 1, didn't we?
I think we did.
We did, yeah. We did.
I don't think we called it that at the time because we didn't know it was season 1 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 24 episodes in or something, so it's a little bit later
Yeah,
than this
something
one.
like that. Yeah.
But it's nice. It gives everyone a chance to catch up.
Episode 25 was actually a catch-up of 24 before it. It was something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But we're going to do this because it just gives everyone a chance to that's missed a few or has joined us halfway through. Bit of a chance to get helps us to get our brains together, go through notes and things like that. So
Yeah, definitely.
exciting. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate you.
Apparently there was a Rosie's cat. Are you exhausted or can you stick for 5 minutes?
I'll stick for 5 minutes, man. I'll get my hat. Hang on. It's alright, we'll do it. I just gotta. I'm getting picked up for cricket tomorrow at a certain time. And it's a stupid long day in Bromley. It's gonna be a long, and it's a high standard, so that's why I've had less than half a bottle of red wine. Because that shows I'm obviously taking it very seriously tomorrow, as opposed to my normal cricket, which is just
Serious
cricket. Okay, yeah, this is actually
Right.
serious cricket.
We will just do a Rosie's cat and then we'll call it for the night. Which seems a fair way round. Meanwhile, on the Baltic Star, the ship's computer had finished the first of its 3 complete start sequences. Briefly, the ship fell completely dark and still again before the sequence ran again. This time much more quickly, but still with every part going through the sequence as before. It was not spotted by Kronsorama sitting at his table in the corner of a bar on the station concourse. He was watching the Aslan, Calaf, play with Rosie's cat, Caboodle. Pretty clearly, Calaf didn't know the traditional ways to play with a kitten. She was essentially pawing the cat from one hand to the other in turn, Caboodle barely having time to find her feet again before she tumbled over into the other hand. Sarama cleared his throat and took the cat, putting her on the table and carefully stroking her. Calaf nodded and took over. The Aslan was very clearly very strong, but had great delicacy of control with her fingers. The terrifying claws at the end of each finger never even touched Caboodle's fur. Until Calaf stopped moving and let the kitten play with her stationary hand. Immediately Caboodle found the claws and rubbed against them, enjoying the way the sharpness combed her fur. Rachel Axis, the Baltic Star's chief engineer, arrived at the table bearing a tray of drinks and spread them out. 3 for the servants, a bowl of water for the cat. Calaf thanked Axis but barely took her eyes off the cat, fascinated by its movements and tiny sounds. As the 3 around the table sat and relaxed with their drinks, Caboodle began making small whining sounds because nobody was playing with the cat anymore. The Aslan frowned slightly and said, "Now it is drinking time, small friend." When this instruction didn't seem to mollify Caboodle, Calaf scooped her up and dropped her, face first, into the water bowl. Startled, the little cat sat upright, water drops cascading off her whiskers and ears. Eyes wide, too surprised to even make a sound, she looked at Calaf with an expression of deep betrayal. The 2 human engineers took a second to register what they'd just seen before both broke into loud laughter. Caboodle's attempt to climb haughtily out of the water bowl, stiffly, with dignity even, just made it all so much funnier. Calaf turned around to order another round of drinks and then fixed Sarama with an intense gaze. "How much do you want for the cat?"
Swerve. The tales of Takalaf's cat.
Yeah, that might be the end. What a cliffhanger.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Spez.
Indeed.
Well, thank you, everybody. It was very nice of you to join us. Thank you for this evening. Luke, you desperately want to go to bed. I desperately want to get to the bottom of this bottle of wine.
What are we doing? What are we doing tomorrow first, though, Ben? Before I go to bed, we need to be official and stuff.
Tomorrow night, it is time for some Orbital Blues. The continuing voyages of the Alcanost.
Yes. Although it's likely to spend most of the time not voyaging.
Well, I think there's a very fighting chance we're going to spend a certain amount of time looking for one or another of our crewmates' body parts or something, because we seem to be running a very risky approach at the moment.
I think so. I'm hoping for some violence tomorrow. I get to practice their combat. So yeah, yes, who knows? You might all be full of peace and love. As far as I know.
We may be.
Exactly. No, that sounds good to me. I'm looking forward to that. So that's 11 p.m. British summer
11 p.m. UK time. Same bat time, same bat channel, and yes, Orbital Blues. And then what are we doing on Monday? Because it's still heavy rain, isn't it? We've still got some more of that.
There's plenty more heavy rain. Plenty more.
God, I wish there was. That might cool it down a little bit.
Yeah. Yes, I mean it's going to be one of those things where we're just going to be staring at the rainfall on the screen and wishing it was real.
Licking the screen. No. Yeah, heavy rain Sunday night or Monday night is quite possible. I would say there's an 80% chance it'll be a spooky Monday, because I've got cricket all day in the sun tomorrow, then I've got cricket all day in the sun Sunday with a team that drinks after. So let's be honest. Yeah. Let's be honest to each other. It will probably be a spooky Monday.
Slip to us Monday.
Yeah. Which is all good.
All right. So, thank you everybody very much for joining us. Luke, Ewan, thank you for tonight. It's been great.
Thank you, both of you.
And,
thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you, chat. Take care, man. Oh, yeah, bye. There's a cat as well. Bye.